Hello everyone, welcome to ACE Online and welcome to Daily Current Affairs Initiative. So we will discuss the current affairs from various newspapers as well as Press Information Bureau for 15th February, that is today. Okay. So before we going over the detailed discussion, let's see what are all the articles that we are going to cover for today. We have very important articles for today's current affairs, right? Yeah. So there is a Wildlife Protection Act 1972. We will have a detailed discussion what are all the things that are required for our exam. So everything related to the Wildlife Protection Act 1972 and the amendments we will see here, because there will be lot of questions especially from environment section related to the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Then 16th Finance Commission. So the first meeting has happened yesterday, right? So this we will see what actually is a Finance Commission, and then who appoints it, how it is regulated, and what actually is 16th Finance Commission. Okay. Then Nagapattinam. So this is very important, especially from Indian history as well as culture. We will see what is the significance, what is this city, or what is the historical significance of this particular town. Then Black Sea, which comes under the mapping part. So you whatever exams you write, there will be at least 3-4 questions from mapping, where either it is from old map or it is from Indian map. You will see lot of questions, and this is very important because Russia-Ukraine war is going on since 2 years in the Black Sea region, right? I am not going to discuss about the Ukraine-Russia issue, it takes a lot of time, but here we are going to discuss only about the Black Sea. Then Bharat Mart, which Prime Minister has today itself has launched in UAE. We will see what actually this Bharat Mart is. And then Government E-Marketplace, again this is a government initiative. Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development Fund. So it was created few years back, and they have launched it in a renew mode. They have added few more things and they have relaunched it. Then Chess Olympiad, where we have conducted in 2022. Now we have given the torch to the Hungary, Budapest, right, for the this year Chess Olympiad in September. Then iRaste project, which is a government initiative and got an award in the UAE recent conference. Finally, we will see some practice questions. So today there are no facts which are relevant for our exam. So all these articles are very, very important for all the exams from current affairs point of view. So if you have any doubts, you can ask here as usual. I hope you are following. Let's start without any delay. First and very, very important, we will see all the relevant things related to the Wildlife Protection Act. So it may take some time for this particular article. Rest of the articles we will complete in lesser time. First, the context. Let's understand what has happened to this particular act, why it is there in news for any reason. Yesterday, Kerala Assembly, Legislative Assembly has passed an unanimous resolution. That means a resolution means any suggestion, right? Through the support from the assembly members. They have passed a resolution requesting central government to amend Wildlife Protection Act. They are asking central government to amend or to add a few things or to adjust few things in the Wildlife Protection Act for the reason there are increasing human-wildlife conflicts. So there was a lot of insurgence of animal into the human habitats because of various reasons. So there was a human-wildlife conflict, and recently a tiger was killed and burnt even in Andhra Pradesh as well. So there are a lot of such human-animal conflicts across the states. So for this reason, Kerala state has asked center to take sufficient measure by amending this particular act. That's why it is there in news. Now, before going into what actually is Wildlife Protection Act and all the provisions related to that, let's understand what our Indian Constitution says about the wildlife. There are 3 provisions clearly mentioned in the Indian Constitution, which is also very important for our exams. First one is 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. So as I already said in the previous session, amendment means already existing something and you are just changing or add on few things. So this is a 42nd time we have amended the Constitution in 1976. Till now it is more than 105 times, but this is the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. It has changed the subject of forests and protection of wildlife from state subject to concurrent list. As I said earlier in the sessions, there are 3 lists in the 7th schedule. One is union list, second is state list, and third one is concurrent list. right? So state list is taken care by the state government and the central list is taken care by the center, and concurrent list can be taken by both the governments according to the need. So here earlier forests and protection of wildlife was part of state list under the 7th schedule. So government through this amendment they have transferred it to the concurrent list, so that union government will also have some say related to the forest and protection of wildlife. This is one provision. Next provision is fundamental duty under Article 51A G, Part 4A. So we have 22 parts, right? So this is Part 4A under Indian Constitution. There is an article fundamental duty under 51A G, right? So it is your fundamental duty. Even if you are not aware about this, now you should be aware about it. It is your duty to protect the wildlife as well as the nature environment and the wildlife. So this is completely derived from the Indian Constitution itself. Though it is not legally bound, it's just a suggestion on you that you need to take a duty to protect natural environment as well as wildlife. This is on our citizens. Then Article 48A. This is a duty on government or recommendation to the government that it is your duty. This is a government duty, government responsibility. This is individual citizen duty. So this article says it is responsibility of the government to protect the wildlife and environment. So these are the three provisions that are related to the wildlife are kept under the Indian Constitution, and you can see a lot of questions from this in any way for our exams. Next, now we have seen what actually the context is. They have asked to protect the, amend the act to resolve human-animal conflicts. Now they have also given some suggestions. There are two suggestions given by Kerala government to the center. What are those suggestions? Let's see, before going to detailed discussion of Wildlife Protection Act, let's see what suggestions Kerala government has or Kerala Legislative Assembly has given. It has asked central government to give power to the chief forest conservators. See, in every district there is an officer like IAS officer to administer the things and IPS for law and order. For forests also in every district we have a chief forest conservator who is responsibility to take the protect of all the forest area in that particular district. So Kerala government is saying that you center give power to the chief forest conservator in that particular district to use lethal force to liquidate wild animals. So they are saying that our human life is more important than wildlife, so you can use lethal force. Now actually in the present scenario, there is no what you call right for any government agencies cannot use any lethal. Lethal means very toxic, poisonous on the animals, because it is against the Article 48A. It is a responsibility to protect rather than killing. So that's why there won't be any use of lethal force. It's just a small injection for consciousness that we are using currently. So Kerala government is asking center to use lethal force, even though it is against such things. We need to protect the human life. So please use the lethal force to control it. That is one suggestion. Second suggestion is initiate scientific and human measures. Just don't bring blind measures, rather you study the things properly, bring scientific and human measures to control wildlife population so that the human animal conflicts will be reduced. So these are the two suggestions Kerala government has given to the center, and then amend the Wildlife Protection Act to bring these measures, right? So I hope you understood the context. Yes, Tarun Madhav, what is the doubt you have asked? You are asking that, excuse me sir, yes, what is your doubt? You can post here, I'll answer, okay? So this is the context. Now we understood what actually is the context, and then what are the provisions in the constitution, what Kerala Assembly has suggested for it. Now let's see what actually is Wildlife Protection Act 1972, okay? It is a legal framework that is statutorily provided by the parliament. It has legal document to protect the wildlife in the forests. So legal means it is having proper rule book passed by the parliament, right? So this one is a legal framework to protect the wildlife. That is one thing. It includes management of habitats like environment or the forest area, how to be regulated, what type of activities can be taken for protecting them, what type of activities can be prohibited. So all these measures are clearly mentioned in the Wildlife Protection Act to protect the animals. Okay, so this is the concept of Wildlife Protection Act. Now let's understand the schedules mentioned in the Wildlife Protection Act. This is very important. Even in UPSC also 2020 they have asked about the schedules. Let's understand, within the Wildlife Protection Act there are 6 schedules earlier until 2022. These were modified or simplified into 4. Now the current scenario after 2022. But this was the earlier list. You need to know the earlier list also, because there will be some statements that earlier there are 6 schedules, now it was made 4, something like that. The statements may come in the exam. Let's understand this 6 schedules. You don't need to remember blindly. Just understand there is a schedule 1 and 2, the first 2 schedules, where the animals which are in very extinct mode, their number is very less within Indian subcontinent. So that's why we need to have a strict regulation to protect those animals. Those animals are kept under Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 of Wildlife Protection Act. Those are very less in number, so we need to take a lot of measures to protect them, right, with the strict measures. And then Schedule 3 and 4 are those animals which are kept under this list, are not very much in threat. They are still important for our environment, but not in a extinct mode. They are in very bigger number. Those animals are kept under Schedule 3 and 4. Then Schedule 5, in this list those animals which are not harmful and you can hunt, like vermins, monkeys were kept here, rats were kept here, right. So those which are not harmful to, not actually is a very strict nature required, right. So they are very big in number and they are also sometimes cause nuisance to the humans, like rats, right. So they are kept under the Schedule 5. So this is the least one. You can also hunt these animals. And then there is a Schedule 6, which particularly takes care of protecting the plants. This was asked in the exam of UPSC 2020 prelims. So this was Schedule 6, which was kept, plants, right. So protecting, setting for cultivation of plants, yes. So exclusive for protection of plants. This was a little bit confusing for most of the, to understand for layman person. So what government has done, why we need Schedule 1, Schedule 2 within the description of lot of animals, there is a lot of confusion. So government has brought an amendment in 2022, that is before year. They have simplified these 6 into 4 now. Okay. So first schedule consists of animal species with a highest level of protection is needed. Like tiger, lion, they are very few in number. So we need a highest amount of protection for these animals. They are kept under Schedule 1. And then Schedule 2, animal species with lesser level of protection. So like you can say deer, these are big in number and you no need to worry too much about this protection. They are able to grow themselves. Those are kept under the Schedule 2. And then plant species were brought under Schedule 3. You need to remember this. These 4 schedules are very, very important because it was changed in 2022. So you will see a lot of questions. And finally, Schedule 4 species. India has already signed an agreement of CITES, Convention on International Trade on Endangered Species. Convention on International Trade of Endangered Species. From one country to other country, there is a lot of trade of animal products, animal species. So there is a convention at international level. We have agreed, all the countries, that we will protect, we will not allow such type of events. So those species are kept under the Schedule 4. They will ask you in the exam for sure, which schedule of Wildlife Protection Acts currently have CITES convention, so CITES related animals. So it is under the Schedule 4. Schedule 3 is for plant species and Schedule 1 is for highest protection needed animals and Schedule D is for less threatened animals, right. So this is very, very important to understand. Based on this only the regulation will be taking place, right. I hope you are following. Yeah. Next, moving to the few more provisions of Wildlife Protection Act. There are certain organizations, certain institutions which were created under Wildlife Protection Act with a different roles. One body will have different role, other body will have different role. We will see those. But there are certain organizations which were created under the Wildlife Protection Act. It is very, very important. They will ask you in the exam. First such body is National Board for Wildlife. It is presided over by the Prime Minister. So it is headed by the Prime Minister. Their role is to review all wildlife related matters, any matter related to the wildlife, and accordingly approve the projects in and around the national parks and sanctuaries. So this is the highest body chaired by Prime Minister, which will take care of the all issues related to the wildlife, and they give permissions for the any projects near national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. That is the powers given under national boards. This was established under Wildlife Protection Act. Next one is Central Zoo Authority. So if you are a person who is very much willing to visit zoos, or you have already visited, so there are a lot of zoos across India. All these zoos are regulated or given permission to run by the Central Zoo Authority. This was also created under Wildlife Protection Act. This will give recognition to zoos across India and also give permission on how to manage the zoos, right? So they will also frequently check whether they are properly maintaining the zoos, right? So this is the authority established under Wildlife Protection Act to take care of zoos across India. Then third one is National Tiger Conservation Authority. So few decades back, especially before 2000, there was a immense decrease of tigers in India. They kept, they fallen down to approximately 1,000. Now we have approximately 3,000 tigers, but a few decades before we had very less number of tigers because of various issues like poaching and all. So in that scenario, government has established a National Tiger Conservation Authority under Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. They have given power to this body to take care of specifically conservation of tigers. There is no other duty. Just whatever the issues related to the tiger, you take care, right? So this central government on recommendation of NTCA also declared tiger reserves. So apart from national parks as well as wildlife sanctuaries, we also have tiger reserves as well as elephant reserves, right? So these tiger reserves are declared by the government on recommendation of the National Tiger Conservation Authority. This is chaired by MOEF, Minister for Environment, not the Prime Minister, okay? Ministry for Environment. One more body that was created under Wildlife Protection Act, that's what I was telling. Whatever the question related to Wildlife Protection Act, you will be able to answer after seeing all these things, right? So Wildlife Crime Control Bureau. There was one more body established under Wildlife Protection Act, that is Wildlife Crime Control Bureau. It is specifically to combat organized wildlife crime. Organized wildlife crime means having proper institutional setup to transfer the animals illegally from one place to other place and using all those body parts, right? It is a wildlife organized crime. So this body will completely regulate those things, right? So these are the bodies. Then there are certain changes also made. When was Wildlife Protection Act passed? I already told this, 1972. After that, there are many changes came into the picture within the Wildlife Protection Act starting from 1972. There are few amendments. Those are also very important for our exam. So here it was amended for the first time in 1991. Such type of statement also can be directly given. Wildlife Protection Act was for the first time was amended in which year? Something like that also they may ask. It was amended in 1991. Why? Why they have changed? There are two important things to be read. There was been increased penalties or offenses fines for those who are committing the offenses against the wildlife. So they have increased the penalties, and then they have also aimed to protect endangered species. Whatever the species which are decreasing in their number in Indian subcontinent, they have specifically mentioned that we are going to take certain measures to take care of these endangered species. This was a 1991 amendment. Next one is Wildlife Protection Amendment Act in 2002. This is the second time that they have amended. Here they have declared two new concepts, again very, very important. Concept of community reserves and then conservation reserves. Very important to understand, just please clearly understand this. there were two concepts declared under Wildlife Protection Act amended in 2002. One is community reserves, second is conservation reserves. Conservation reserves are those areas, for example, this is a national park, okay. So in and around, we need to create some buffer zones, we need to have, because there should be a transition. If any animal is stepping into out of those national park, it will affect. All the people cannot surround in this national park. That's why government has created conservation reserves around the national parks as well as wildlife sanctuaries to regulate the activities of the humans, so that it will act as a buffer zone before getting into the protection of national parks or wildlife sanctuaries. We will first take care of conservation reserves so that it will have acted as a buffer zone. That is called as conservation reserves. And one more reserves they have created, that is community reserves. This is a government land, this buffer zone and all. Community reserves are those areas which are in the hands of private. For example, tribal people are holding, or some corporate companies holding. So if government feels that it is important for environment, then they will take that land into the hands, or even with the ownership of those community, government will keep protecting the forest in that area. So those are called as community reserves. These two were bought in 2002, right? So this is the second amendment. Third amendment was done in 2006. This we have already discussed, that establishment of National Tiger Conservation Authority. This was done in 2006. This is the next amendment. They have also established Crime Control Bureau through 2006 amendment. We have discussed this also, right? And then the final amendment came in last year, before year, right? So we have discussed the 4 schedules, Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 4. So I am not discussing here because we have already discussed. Apart from those, government also mentioned that use of elephants for religious or any other purposes. Earlier, elephants were not being allowed to use for any other purposes, but certain regions like Kerala, Karnataka have cultural aspects related to the elephants. So you can see they are used widely in the cultural events. So after the demand of many states that they want to use for cultural purposes without harming them, so this provision was enabled by the Wildlife Protection Act. It also has increased the specifically, fines for any violations related to the newer amendments, right? So these are the changes brought within the Wildlife Protection Act, right? Any doubts in this? We have exhaustively discussed what actually is the context of Kerala, and then what Wildlife Protection Act, what were the schedules earlier, that is 6, and what were the schedules now, that are 4, and what are the bodies that was established under the Wildlife Protection Act. And finally, we have also discussed what are all the amendments that has been done since 1972, right? I hope this is clear. Any doubts in this? Right. If not, we will move to the next article, that is related to the Finance Commission, right? Yes, so the context is very simple. Recently, that is yesterday, all the 16th Finance Commission members has met for the first time. So this was published in the Press Information Bureau, right? So that's why we have taken this article. Now, let's understand what actually is a Finance Commission. In our constitution, in our democracy, we have 2 different layers. Of course, now third layer also added, that is panchayats, central government, and then state governments, and then panchayats, right? There are 3 layers of the government, and we need finances to be distributed between these tiers. Especially before panchayats, the central as well as state finances was clearly mentioned in the constitution, right? So whatever the taxes governments collect, either it is at the state level or central level, has to be redistributed among the different states of India, so that the development will be taken forward equally, right? For that, there is a Finance Commission mentioned under the constitution, that there should be a Finance Commission which will suggest measures. It is not mandatory actually for government to accept. It is just a recommendatory that this much amount should go to Kerala, this much amount should go to Uttar Pradesh, this much amount should go to Andhra Pradesh or Karnataka, any other states. So they will give different recommendations to different states to the center. So based on the Finance Commission recommendation, center also will give funds to the states. That is the role of Finance Commission, right? It is constitutionally mandated, and which article talks about finance commission? This is also very, very important, right? So article 280, which states that how the tax revenues between center and states to be redistributed will be taken care by the finance commission. That is the role and that is the constitutional mandate. So who will appoint this finance commission? That is very important. It empowers, article 280 empowers president, okay, president of India to appoint the finance commission for every 5 years. For every 5 years, new finance commission has to be appointed, because finances keeps changing, the amount to be calculated or how the tax should be shared should be changed based on the changes that are happening in the last 5 years. That's why for every 5 years, president will constitute the finance commission, right? It will consist of chairman as well as 4 other members. So it is a 5-member body, 5-member body, okay? So this is appointed by president. Now, okay, a president appointed, but how they work, what is their salary, what is the eligible conditions of the, the members, all these things will be mentioned by the parliament through act. Only president will appoint, final appointment, but what is the salary, the regulation of services, all these things are taken care by the parliament. Very important point to be remembered, right? Now, in 1992, there was one amendment in the article 280. The central government or the parliament has brought an amendment within 280 that not only the center and state, but you also need to consider the panchayats, because in 1992, 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts came into the picture, establishment of panchayats. So finances related to the panchayats can also be suggested by the finance commission, right? So this amendment was brought in 1992 after the implementation of 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, that is panchayats and municipalities, okay? So this is the amendment made to suggest finance commission to consider the finances for panchayat raj as well. Now, let's see about the 16th Finance Commission. We have discussed about the Finance Commission, what is the constitutional mandate, who are all the members, who is appointed, what is the service condition. So we have seen that. Now let's understand, we are currently in 15th Finance Commission till 2026. We are under 15th Finance Commission. So next Finance Commission will start from April 1, that is financial year 2026. Before that, this 16th Finance Commission has to give a report to the Parliament, and accordingly they will implement from April 1, 2026. Okay. So for that purpose, the government has appointed, and today first meeting has happened yesterday, right? So this will be starting from April 1, 2026, how the taxation has to be distributed between the center and states. Also, center has given deadline to submit the report, because they want to implement by April 1, 2026, at least 4 or 5 months should be there to study and give recommendations accordingly from the center, right? So the deadline is they should submit the report by October 31, 2025, right? So that is the elements about the 16th Finance Commission, and it is chaired by Arvind Panagaria, the former vice chairman of Niti Aayog. Okay, so that is about the Finance Commission and 16th Finance Commission. Any doubts in this? Okay. Next one, I personally feel this is one of the important one for our exams, because it is history. History is always important. The present is always bounded or molded by the historical elements. So we will see the Nagapattinam town, what is its culture, and what are all the elements that need to be learned for our exams. But the context is a little bit different. Still, I have taken this to be discussed. I felt that this is very important. The questions can be asked from history. So let's understand the context. I will also discuss the context, and then in the end I will discuss about the Nagapattinam in Tamil Nadu. The context is Coastal Aquaculture Authority, CAA. Coastal aquaculture means cultivation of fisheries, right? So the marine fisheries, that is called as aquaculture. There is an organization already established by the Indian government, Coastal Aquaculture Authority. We will see what actually this authority, what is the mandate. In Chennai, it is located in Chennai. This is also important. Coastal Aquaculture Authority is located in Chennai. Flags of National Campaign on Coastal Aquaculture Farm Registration. So they have started campaign to bring awareness among the farmers to register their farms with the Coastal Aquaculture Authority. I hope you are following it. It is telling the farmers who are growing in aquaculture to register their farms, how much amount of land they are doing, what type of fishes they are growing, all these things with the Coastal Aquaculture Authority. Why they want to registration, that we will see in the next coming slides. Okay, so this is the context. That campaign has started in Nagapattinam yesterday. So from Nagapattinam it will move throughout India in the next coming 1 year. They will move to the different places in India and bring awareness about farm registration. Now let's understand the issue, why they want registration, why they want this farm registration to be done. First thing, there is a Coastal Aquaculture Authority under Ministry of Fisheries has started to achieve 100% of farm registration. So whatever the aquaculture that you are doing throughout India, has the database should be with the Coastal Aquaculture Authority. That was the aim that the institution has kept. The first campaign was started today in Nagapattinam. Then why farm registration is needed? Why 100% farm registration is needed? This institution has said few reasons for that. First one, non-registration is against the act that is existing in India. Coastal Aquaculture Authority Act 2005 clearly mentions that every farm which is taken or which is going to do of aquaculture should be registered with the authority of Coastal Aquaculture Authority. So they have clearly mentioned it. So everyone has to do, whenever there is a legal backing, so everyone has to follow it, right? So that is one thing they said. And then the mandate of Coastal Acquisition Authority is, what is the duty of this authority? Is to protect the environment along with the promotion of sustainable aquaculture. If we keep on exploiting fisheries, if we keep on using the land unsustainably, that will affect the coastal environment. That's why not only to promote the aquaculture but also to protect the environment accordingly is the mandate of this authority. So if they could able to bring all the registration at one place, they can easily regulate them. If someone is doing illegal activities which are affecting the environment, this authority can take the action, can cancel the registrations. So that's why the database is being managed to protect the environment. Also, this authority is saying that they can give, it would allow agency of Coastal Aquaculture Authority to create a nationwide database. So if some region is producing more fishes and some region is not able to produce some more fishes, the productivity is less, so that the ideas of this region can be shared to this region. So productivity will increase, right? And also some environmental practices, whatever may be benefited, will be shared. Also, better outreach of technical assistance. So if any technical assistance is needed to certain regions, based on the data, they will immediately rush and they will protect that, they will give some suggestions to that particular farmers. So that's why it is saying that all farmers related to the aquaculture has to register with the Coastal Acquisition Authority. So that is the context that we have discussed. Now I want to bring discussion on Nagapattinam also, because that is relevant for our exam. If it has happened some normal cities which is not having too much history, I would have not discussed this, but Nagapattinam has certain history which is relevant for our exams. That's why I have brought this discussion. I hope you are following. Any doubts in this that we have discussed about the context? Let's move to the history of Nagapattinam. It has much, the city or the town is, can be traced since Sangam period. Sangam period means it is a span between 3rd century BC, before Christ, to 3rd century AD, Anno Domini, right? So approximately 600 history. Sangam means a group of sadhus who discusses the current scenario, the current situation of that time, through songs, through poets, through literature. So that is Sangam, means a group of poets coming together and discussing about the life events, right, of those times. So this period has existed in the southern part, that is the current Tamil Nadu region, and those time the kingdom were Pandyas. So Pandyas were there at that time. During this time period in Tamil region, Pandyas were dominating. Of course, there are Charas and Cholas also. Anyway, Pandyas were the main rulers who promoted the discussion of poems, all these things, which was called as Sangam age. So this Sangam period itself, we have some urn burials. Urn means like pots, clay pots, whatever that they have saved, they have stored all these gold ornaments and all. Those were buried along with the people who, after their death. So these urn burials were found from Nagapattinam, which are attributed to the Sangam period. So this can also be asked in the exam. Also, Cholakula Vallipattinam is the other name for Nagapattinam. This is a fact. I will tell you how it can be connected to the history. This is the other name for Nagapattinam. Then, now coming to the next few years, we have Pallava king, Pallava rulers in Tamil Nadu also promoted the Nagapattinam region. Right? So they may ask which of the following rurals are associated with Nagapattinam, something like that they may ask. So here there is a proof for that. Narasimhavarman II or Narasimha Pallava, there are two names. He was initiated the construction of Kayarohana Swami temple, which is located in Nagapattinam. Very, very important. They will ask again this. Kayarohana Swami temple, this was initiated, the construction was initiated by Narasimha Pallava II or Narasimhavarman II, right? So that's why this place is also attributed to Pallavas. Then came the most important period of Nagapattinam, that is Cholas. We have Cholas during the Sangam period also, they are called as ancient Cholas. And then the next set of Cholas has started during 9th century, right? So the late 9th century, they are called as medieval Cholas. They have started contributing to the trade, commerce of this Nagapattinam region. There is a port called as Nagapattinam port, which was flourished during the Cholas, right? So we have seen Sangam period and then Pallavas and also now Cholas. Next comes the other rulers. We have one more vihara there. There are two things in the Buddhist, chaityas as well as viharas. Chaityas are the temples of Buddhists and viharas are the residing areas for the monks. So there is a Chudamani Vihara, very, very important. Where is Chudamani Vihara? They may ask in the exam. So there is a Chudamani Vihara which is related to the Buddhist monks, right? It is located in Nagapattinam. It was built by Sailendra king. Sailendra is a present Indonesia region, that is Java. So that king, Indonesian, the name is Vijaya Tungavarman. He is from Indonesia in Java. He come to this Tamil Nadu. He is friend of Rajaraja Chola. So this king has supported him to build a vihara there in this Nagapattinam region. This is very, very important. Who built this, where it is located, and which king was there in India during that particular. Sailendra is a Indonesian region, the present Java region. Okay, so there the rulers came into India and they have built a monastery here. Then comes the Britishers. This is very, very important. I hope you are following. This is very important to remember. In 16th century, after the decline of all these kings and all, the Europeans slowly started to arrive in the Indian region. First were the Portuguese, of course, in 1498 itself they have arrived, the Vasco da Gama, right? So in 16th century, they have established a commercial center in Nagapattinam. This is very, very important. Who were the first to establish, where they have established, in which year, this is very, very important. In Nagapattinam, they have established the commercial center in 1554. Commercial center means to trade, to make the export and import of the goods. Then after approximately 100 years, Dutch, that is Netherlands, made an agreement with the local king, Vijaya Nayakar of Tanjavur. The Nagapattinam is under the Tanjavur. So Dutch, that is Netherlands, Portuguese is Portugal. So this king has signed with the king of that area, asked 10 villages to shift from Portuguese to Dutch. The king accepted because they gave some money. So some villages which are in the hands of Portuguese were shifted towards Dutch in 1658. So you need to keep in mind what are all the European powers occupied the Nagapattinam. That also may be asked in the exam. Then in 1690, after approximately 30 years, the capital of Dutch, earlier it was in Pulicat region, now Pulicat, you can see Pulicat Lake, right, Andhra Tamil Nadu border. This was the capital of Dutch. They have shifted their capital from Pulicat to Nagapattinam in 1690. Very, very important. They have shifted their capital in 1690 from Pulicat to Nagapattinam. It acted as a capital of Dutch. Now the town was taken by Britishers from Dutch. So see this years, after approximately again 100 years, the Britishers were able to conquer all the European powers, and this Nagapattinam was taken by Britishers in 1781, right? So here there are two important temples also. Saundara Raja Perumal temple attributed to the Vishnu, it is located in the Nagapattinam. It is one of the Divya Desams of Lord Vishnu. There are total 108 Divya Deshams, the temples attributed to Vishnu, and this is one such temple, very very important. Also there is Kayarohana Swami temple which is attributed to Lord Shiva. So here Nayanars, Alvars are attributed to the Vishnu, and then Nayanars are attributed to the Shiva. So Kayarohana Swami temple is also located here. These two temples has to be remembered, right? Any doubts in this? This is data is very very important. We have seen very good amount of data related to the Nagapattinam. We have seen the ancient culture of Nagapattinam, and then medieval period what has happened during Cholas, and then what has happened during the Europeans. These are all data is very very important. We have also seen the context of the coastal aquaculture authority what they have started in Nagapattinam, right? So we have seen the context as well as the facts about the Nagapattinam, right? You can expect one question. Next, again this comes again an important article, and we are going to see about the mapping of Black Sea, right? So the context is this. You all know that there is a war going on between Russia and Ukraine, especially in the borders of the Black Sea. That is the context, that Ukraine has destroyed the ship of Russia in the Black Sea region. That was noted in the Hindu. Now we will see what actually is Black Sea and what are all the important facts for our exam from Black Sea. So you know that we have around 5 oceans, 5 oceans are there, and within 5 oceans we have a number of smaller water bodies which are called as sea, right? So here if you observe the Black Sea, so that you will get an idea about this. This is all the Black Sea. Let me show you in the world map so you will understand it. And here is the Crimea. This was earlier part of Ukraine but now occupied by Russia in 2014. So you might be aware about it, international relations. This region is Crimea. They will ask you directly, Crimea is located in which sea, something like that. It was earlier part of Ukraine but now it was sacked by Russia in 2014. Okay. So this is Black Sea. You can see here in the world map where it is located. Here it is Mediterranean Sea. Here it is Caspian Sea. This is Caspian Sea, right? So this is Black Sea and this is Mediterranean Sea. This is the location of Black Sea. Very important. Okay. So now let's see the facts related to the Black Sea. It is the largest inland sea located in the southeastern Europe. It is a inland sea means what? Surrounded by land throughout it, like around it, right? You can see here. All the land is occupied surrounding it. So it is an inland sea. It is not a ocean oriented or open to any oceans. The bordering countries is the most important thing here, right? So the bordering countries are the most important, starting from first Russia, second Georgia, third Turkey, so 3 countries, and then fourth is Bulgaria. Already the question has been asked in many of the exams and it will keep up coming in your exams. Romania, finally Ukraine. So total 6 countries are there. Try to remember this, very very important. These 6 countries are the bordering countries of the Black Sea, right? Now we have seen the bordering countries. It is connected to the Mediterranean Sea. We have seen the world map here. So it is connected to the, this is Mediterranean Sea and this is the connection. So here it is connected, this is the Black Sea and then this is Mediterranean Sea. It is connected through Bosphorus Strait. This will also be asked in the exam. Bosphorus Strait. Strait means what? A narrow water body connecting 2 oceans or 2 water bodies. So here you can see there is a water body, that is Black Sea, and here there is a Sea of Marmara. This is also important. Sorry, Marmara. Sea of Marmara. Here Black Sea So it is a strait. This is called as Bosphorus Strait. So strait means any narrow water body connecting two big water bodies. So here two big water bodies are there and a narrow water body is there. That is called as strait. So this strait is called as Bosphorus Strait, which is connecting Sea of Marmara and then Black Sea. There is also one more strait here. See, there is a water body that is called as Dardanelles Strait. So one more, these three, see, Bosphorus Strait, Sea of Marmara and then Dardanelles Strait. These three are able to connect the Black Sea with the Mediterranean Sea. That's how the questions can be asked in any combination. Okay. Also, they will ask you in the exams what are all the rivers drains into Black Sea, because there is a lot of questions on what are all the rivers drains into the Indian Ocean, because almost all the rivers in the world has to finally get into the ocean only, right? So here there are three important rivers from Black Sea which drains into the Black Sea, that is Danube, Nifer and then Nestor. So these are the three important rivers that are drains into the Black Sea from various regions, right? So these are the facts about Black Sea which will be very important for your exams. Next, so there was no doubt, I am going ahead with the next article, that is Bharat Mart. So you might aware about the concept of mart. Mart means where there is a number of goods which are kept at single place, right? So India has launched, actually the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, has inaugurated the foundation stone, laid the foundation stone for the Bharat Mart within Jebel Ali Free Trade Zone in UAE. So this is the context. Don't worry, all the facts related to the Bharat Mart we will discuss. Just making you understand that Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has inaugurated the stone, laid the stone for Bharat Mart. Now, what actually is Bharat Mart? The facts are very important. It is a warehouse facility. Warehouse means where you can store a lot of goods. Whatever you produce, you will be having certain conditions there, temperature and all maintained, and you can store there for longer period. So this is a warehouse facility. You can see here, you will understand it, the goods that are kept at single place, set up in the UAE, which would help. So why we are setting it up? Why actually this Bharat Mart is needed? Because it aims to help Indian exporters. Of course, if India is exporting goods, it is benefit to us because we are getting the money from other countries, right? And also it creating employment within India. So it will help Indians, especially those exporters. They can showcase the quality or aestheticism of our Indian goods, so that other countries will also get interest and the demand for our Indian goods will increase. That is the objective why we are setting up the Bharat Mart. So whoever the country, because see this UAE and then Saudi Arabia, these are the regions, Qatar, where many countries keep on coming there. Like even if you want to go from India to London, you need to connect through UAE, like Dubai or any other cities, Doha, something like that, right? So that's why this is a very good region to showcase our goods to the international other countries. So that's how they can help the Indian exporters to produce more. The same objective was mentioned here. It will help the Indian exporters. Now, this is also similar to China's Dragon Mart, which is located in UAE itself. There is already a Dragon Mart which was established by China, and China is one of the biggest exporters in the world, right? So they are showcasing their goods in UAE. So similar to that, we are also establishing one. Whatever the goods that exporters are, producing, they can put it in the showcase of Bharat Mart, and it will be showcased to the other country people, right? So the facility will span over 1 lakh square meters, the total area, not needed for the exam, so too much factual they won't ask, and will be mix of warehouse, that means they can store, they can retail, that means they can directly sell also, not only to showcase, they can also to those people whoever want to buy that. Retail means consumer. Then also hospitality units, that means they will host the guests whoever want to visit, like some big companies to procure those. It will also have a hospitality units. It was being set up in Dubai with the help of DP World company, which is already existing in Dubai at Jebel Ali Free Trade Zone. Okay, so this is the Chinese mart that already existing. We are also going to keep there as Bharat Mart. right? So it will help Indian companies to expand their operations. So these are generic points only, that if we are able to show cost, maintain the quality, of course it will enhance the operations or expand our Indian companies to other countries like Africa and Europe. They also help to reduce time and cost of shipping goods. For example, if you want to send it to Europe, if you could able to store them immediately at the UAE, we can send it in a very quicker manner rather than from sending from India, right? So that's why it helps our Indian exports. Any doubts in this? Bharat Mart? Sir, strait means connecting two land masses in water body, right? No, Malini, see, this is a water body, okay? This is a water body and this is also a water body. There is a border, thin border, right? So this is also a water channel, a small water channel, right? So here there may be a land, here and all there may be a land, but here there is already a big two water bodies and then there is a narrow channel of water passing from some different region. So strait means a narrow water channel dividing two bigger water bodies, not land masses, okay? So two bigger bodies, water bodies. So that is called as strait, right? Yes. So let's move to the next article, that is government e-marketplace. Why it is there in news? Ministry of Defence records a 1 lakh crore total order value from this particular e-commerce website or platform, government e-marketplace. This was taken from Press Information Bureau, that 1 lakh crore amount of goods has been bought by Ministry of Defence alone from government e-marketplace, okay? So that is the context we have taken this article. Now let's understand what actually is government e-marketplace. It is an online platform like Amazon, but managed by the government itself, but only for government ministries, government organizations. I cannot buy from government marketplace. Of course, they are expanding it, but it is specifically for purpose of the public ministries, government. Because say for example, if there is a Ministry of Defence, we need some goods, so some inputs. Also, if you take Ministry of Education, we need benches, we need some machinery. So whatever we need, we can directly procure from the already existing government market e-commerce platform. There is Amazon, there is a Flipkart. So rather than going to the private entities, we ourselves, government itself is managing the government e-marketplace. Whatever the goods produced within India from tribes and different region will be kept in online platform and government can directly procure from it. So Indian producers also benefiting. Government is also buying with a lesser cost rather than going for Amazon and Flipkart, right? So it is nothing but an online e-commerce platform for procurement of public goods, means it's government, right? It was launched in 2016 by Ministry of Commerce. Ministry of Commerce and Industry has launched this e-commerce website exclusively for government procurement, buying of goods for the government departments. It was created to maintain the transparency. So earlier, see, few decades before, government will quote some 10 crores and middlemen will consume 5 crores and only 5 crore amount of goods are procured. The rest of 5 crores are dispersed to different personalities and that's how the corruption was there. But now government is directly procuring from digital means itself. So everything is clearly mentioned. Nobody can cheat. No government employees can cheat. So it wants to bring transparency of procurement. Because different ministries have different necessary of goods, so obviously they need to buy, and if you could able to do it in a transparent manner, they will save a lot of funds, public funds. So that is the objective. Now it was actually made mandatory by Ministry of Finance under General Financial Rules 2017. So all the governments have necessary, all the government ministries and departments has to necessarily buy all the goods from GEM itself, government e-marketplace. They cannot go to offline, they cannot go to Amazon, they cannot go to Flipkart, they have to buy only from this, okay? And this GEM is owned by Ministry of Commerce as a non-profit organization. They are not going to work for profit, they are just want to support the government departments. So that is the thing. So this is just to make you understand, no need to remember the data. So there are approximately 11,000 product categories clearly being mentioned in the government e-marketplace, which is a good thing, right? So any doubts? Okay. Now moving to the Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development Fund. The next article, and we have just one more thing. After this we will practice some questions. See, all these things are very important. That's why I am exhaustively discussing it. You can answer any question related to these topics that we are discussing. Let it be Wildlife Protection Act, let it be Government e-Marketplace. You can see the questions from different exams. You can answer any type of questions, whether it is direct fact or the statement based, right? So here the next one is there. The context is this: Union Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry has launched the realigned fund. So this fund has been realigned and launched again. Okay, let's understand what actually is Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development Fund. Now before going to this, let's discuss this one example. There are public, okay, these are the public, that is people, right, you, me and all. This is government, right? So if government want to encourage the infrastructure in the animal husbandry, for example, these are all farmers who are working in the animal husbandry. What can government do? Government can directly disburse the funds, right? So government can directly use the funds and create infrastructure related to this. But what will happen? There will be more inflation in the economy and the people will consume all these things and the resources will over. That's why there is a one more approach. Government can create a separate fund, say for example 100 crores, there is separate fund, and they can give loans to the private companies. These are companies with the very less interest. Usually if companies want to invest or produce something, to get loans from banks, it will be 7%, 8%, 10% interest they need to pay. But government has separately created some fund and they are giving loans to the companies. And these companies have to specifically invest only in this sector. They are giving direction, they will regulate, of course, they cannot shift the money. They are giving loans, you give after 1 year, 2 year, 10 year, but you invest here, create infrastructure and take your profit from the public. So this is a very good approach because it is not inflating, it is creating employment here, companies will procure, and it will also be a long term because it is not a free for farmers. Here they need to pay something, right? So this is a very good mechanism that government will create some funds and then from that they will give loans to those companies to encourage the investments in specific sector, right? So this is a fund created by government to give loans to the companies who want to invest in animal husbandry and infrastructure related development. Very important. See, many students don't understand what is these funds and all. Government is not going to give directly in terms of one-way payments, that is transfer payments. They are just going to give the loans and they will collect back from the companies, okay, after certain point of time. I hope you are understanding it, right? So here government has created a fund. It is a completely a central sector scheme. That means states no need to give any money into this particular kitty of animal husbandry fund. So government is exclusively creating the fund and then they are offering loans towards this particular sector. So private entities can take and invest there. It has been approved to incentivize investments. So individuals can take, if you want to do this, you can take loan and invest on it, right? As well as private companies, micro and small medium companies as well, and farmer producer organizations at the local level. So all these entities can take and invest in the animal husbandry infrastructure. So it encourages to establish. So what government want to encourage through this fund? To enhance the dairy processing so that it will reduce the waste of milk or whatever the dairy products. Meat processing, along with dairy processing, meat processing as well as value addition. So the goods will be more quality, and also to promote animal feed plants. Animal feed plants means any regions which are exclusively to feed the animals. So if the feeding is very good, the productivity from the animals, the type of quality of milk, the meat, everything will be in good quality. So we can also encourage exports from our country, right? So all these have a multifaceted effect. So government want to encourage all these things through the fund. Under this, government entities are not available, not eligible. Government entities and cooperative sector are not eligible because they are doing already separately. That's why these people are not eligible. And what is the objective? They are very generic in nature, increasing the milk realization of increased productivity or increases prices for the farmers, and then availability of quality milk and meat, promote exports. So all these things will obviously happen once the investments are taking place, right? Next, what is realigned fund? So now the government has realigned because government has already launched previously in 2017 to 22. Government has already launched with 15,000 crore. So from this 15,000 crore itself, the investment or the loans will go to the private entities or the individuals. Now government has increased it to 29,610 crore. Very, very important for the exam. So the total fund kept to give loans from this particular scheme is 29,610 crores. Okay, this will be applicable from 2023 to 26. So if you want to take loans and invest in dairy, you can take it from this fund, right? With sufficient proofs and all will be there. That is the realignment fund. And also there was one more fund specifically created for dairy infrastructure development fund, for specifical to dairy sector, not the broader animal husbandry. That was also consumed into this. There is no separate dairy infrastructure fund anymore. They have subsumed into animal husbandry fund. Okay. So, so this here the government also gives some interest. Of course, when you are taking loans from government, you need to pay back, right? Similar to the banks, but the interest will be less. And government is also saying that if you are taking loans from us, if the company is taking loan from us, we will also give back the interest that you are paying. How much? 3%. Say for example, 6% was decided, the company has to pay to the government when they are taking the loans. Out of that, 3% we are giving it back. This will encourage the companies to invest more into those sector, right? And also the companies, those can be invested, we have already seen. There is no ceiling of loan amount. Like only 10 crores will be given, 20 crores will be given. There is no such thing. You bring the project, tell us how much it is costing, and we will giving up to 90%. You just need to spend 10% of that project, rest of 90% we will give without any ceiling. It can be 100 crore project, it can be 1000 crore project, it can be 10 lakh crore project, right? So depends on that. There is no ceiling, and up to 90% of the project or loan will be given by the government itself. Any doubts in this? This is a very important thing that we have discussed. Now there are two factual things, small articles. India hands over Chess Olympiad torch to Hungary. So this capital, Hungary capital is Budapest. You might be already aware about it. We have conducted the Chess Olympiad in 2022, 44th Chess Olympiad, right? Now we have given it to the Hungary. This year they are going to conduct the Chess Olympiad. That is the context mentioned in the Hindu. So what is Chess Olympiad? It is a biennial chess tournament. Biennial means once in 2 years, sorry. Once in 2 years. Okay. Biannual means twice in a year. Biennial means once in 2 years. So this tournament happens for every 2 years once. Competing between the countries, between different countries, like World Cup, any cricket World Cup, something like that is being handled by International Chess Federation. Like how ICC is there for cricket, International Chess Federation, this is called as FIDE, right? So this authority is conducting the tournament, and this was first official tournament has happened in 1927. So you might be aware, if you have written a UPSC Civil Service exam of 2021, there was a question on Chess Olympiad, because that has happened in India. We'll see then in the next slide. So first session was happened in London in 1927. Okay. So this is about the Chess Olympiad. Now 44th Chess Olympiad has happened in Chennai, India in August 2022. That's why the question has come for the exam, right? In 2021 or 22 the question has been asked about the Chess Olympiad, right? So this was happened in Chennai. This was the first time that has happened in India. India is the country which has given the game of chess to the world, but this is the first time that has taken place in India. Usually this is also not possible. This was not actually to be happened because of COVID and then Russia attacking the Ukraine. So the actual event was planned in Russia, but because Russia was attacking in Ukraine, because of those political issues, it was shifted to India. So this was for the first time it has happened in India, and this is a mascot. You can see Thambi, that means brother in Tamil. India won a bronze medal in this event. of 44th Chess Olympiad. India has won the bronze and Uzbekistan has won the gold, right? India won first medal in 2014. First tournament has happened in 1927 and first medal for India came in 2014, right? So India also shared a gold medal uh, in 2020 along with Russia. As COVID was there in the 2020 August September that time, so the tournament has happened in online mode rather than offline mode. So the gold was shared between India and Russia because the finals were not able to conduct because of the technical issues in the internet for different players. They have given Russia and India as together winners. So India won the gold medal in 2020, right? So facts related to that. Last article for today, that is I Raste project. Raste in Hindi means what? Road, way, right? So India was awarded eminent government tech prize instituted by government of UAE. So UAE has instituted government tech prize, very important to remember. And World Government Summit is going on in Dubai. We have discussed this in the last few articles, daily current affairs, that World Government Summit is going on in UAE, and here it has awarded India the government tech prize. And why they have awarded this? Because of the successful implementation of I Raste project. So I Raste project was launched by government of India and it was very successful in tackling the road issues and all. That's why the UAE has given government tech prize to India, right? So that is the context. Now let's understand what actually is I Raste project. It is an artificial intelligence approach. AI, artificial intelligence means you all know simulation of human brains in the machines. That is artificial intelligence. So using those artificial intelligence, the road accidents can be controlled. So it will send a immediate alert to the the driver if there is any issue in the road, because they will keep some artificial intelligence chips and all. So immediately it will send signals, so it can reduce the accident by alerting the driver, right? So that is the concept. It aims to reduce the road accident. It was developed by iHub Foundation within IIIT Hyderabad with the support of Department of Science and Technology, right? Government is also involved here, Department of Science and Technology. They gave funding to IIIT Hyderabad. They have developed this mechanism which can reduce the accidents, right? So I hope I was able to justify to make you understand all these issues today. Now let's move to the practice questions of today. We have 5 practice questions, right? First question is taken from UPSC Civil Services. Okay, not this one. Okay, so we have discussed the Wildlife Protection Act. Yes, this is taken from UPSC 2022 Civil Services Prelims. I have discussed few provisions. There are some more provisions in the Wildlife Protection Act. You cannot read all 90, 20 or 90, 100 pages, but you need to use your brain, understand the statement, find the logic and eliminate the statements. Okay, so they have asked about the wildlife protection in India. First one, wild animals are the sole property of the government. They are saying that all the wildlife is only under the hands of government. That is the first statement. When a wild animal is declared protected, if government has declared that this animal is protected now, such animal is entitled for equal protection whether it is found in the protected areas or outside. So there are protected areas like national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, or the animal is also beyond those protected areas. The same equal protection is given whether they are staying within those areas or not. That is the second statement. Apprehensions of protected wildlife animals becoming danger to human life. That's what I am bringing the context. Kerala government has passed a resolution asking the center. Here they are saying that any doubtful that this animal will harm the human life is sufficient ground for its capture or killing. So it was estimated that this animal will affect the human life, then it can be killed or captured. Those are the 3 statements given for the exam. Now, which of the following are correct? I am giving you 10 seconds time. Just try to understand the logic. So you are saying that 1 and 3. Let's see. Any other answers? Someone has said it as C. Okay. Right. Wild animals are sole property of government. Yes, there is a logic in this, even if they are sole, something word is confusing you. All the wildlife is nothing but owned by government only, right? Why will it will give ownership to the private one? So first statement should be correct. So B and D are wrong, right? B and D are wrong. Then we have A and C. Now here in both the statements we have first option correct. Second statement, let's see. When a wild animal is declared as a protected, for example, they have declared tiger as a protected one. If tiger is in national park or if tiger is in some normal region, say for example it came out, the same protection is given. Why will the animal, if it is tiger is located outside of protected area, will be removed their protection? There is a logic in this. Whether it is located in protected areas or outside, the same status will be given by the government, right? So statement 2 is correct. So answer is A, and any apprehension, just by having doubtful, they cannot kill or capture the animal unless it need approval from the government and the expertise committee. So just by apprehending that it may affect human life is not a sole ground to kill the animal. So answer is A, right? That's how you need to find the logic from the statements. Especially when you are writing the exams like UPSC, you need lot of logic and understanding of the statements rather than by hearting the facts. Next, with regard to European rule in India, Nagapattinam has acted as a capital of. We have discussed this. So Nagapattinam we have discussed exhaustively. And European rulers, we have Portuguese, we have British, we have French, right? We have Dutch, we have Denmark. So here, which authorities, which European powers has established Nagapattinam as their capital? Any answer from it, from your side? Portuguese, Dutch, Britain, Danish. Okay, so let's move ahead. Portuguese no, Denmark no, Britain no. I have said that Dutch has shifted their capital from Pulicat to Nagapattinam. I have clearly mentioned there. So these Portuguese, they have established Bombay initially and then shifted to Goa, and then Britain also they had made West Bengal and then Madras, finally Bombay. Danish also, they don't have any capital because they were not able to handle any of the territory. They just promoted the Christian missionaries. So answer is Dutch. Okay. Next one, which of the following countries share border with the Black Sea? Very direct question. We have discussed, I have shown you the map also. So I am hoping at least to answer this question correctly, right? So Turkey, Greece, Serbia, among these three countries, which countries has bordered with the Black Sea? Turkey, Greece, Serbia. Any answer? Okay, let's go ahead. First one, yes, Turkey. We have seen Turkey at the southern side of Black Sea. Greece, no, we did not see Greece there. Romania, Bulgaria, Russia, Turkey, as well as Georgia we have seen, not the Greece. Serbia is also not there. So answer is A. Yes, Malini, you are correct. Answer is A. Next, which of the following statements about government e-marketplace is are correct? So we have discussed this government e-marketplace, right? So they are saying which of the following statements are correct regarding to GEM. It is launched in 2016 to bring transparency in the government buying process. So that is the first statement. Some printing issue was there. So yeah, anyway, we can understand from it. So it was bought in 2016 to bring transparency in government procurement. Ministry of Commerce and Industry is the nodal ministry for government e-marketplace. So Ministry of Commerce. Then it facilitates online procurement of common use of goods and services required by various central government and state government. Very generic. Yes, it is established in 2016 and bring transparency. It is under Ministry of Commerce and it want to procure from government. So answer is D. 3 is D. Next, which of the following is the main objective of I-Raste project? We have seen that it got the award. So what is the main objective of this I-Raste project? First one, construction of concrete roads by replacing the existing bituminous roads across India. That is the first statement. and then to enhance greenery and aestheticism of national highways, to reduce road accidents using the technologies, create the rest houses for the truck drivers along the national highways. Any answer? Yes, you are right. That is answer D, you are correct for the previous question. For now, I raste, right? So any answer from your side? Not concrete roads or national highway greeneries, it aims to use artificial intelligence to reduce the road accident. So answer is C. Right? Yes, 5 is C, you are correct, Malini. So that's all from my side for today. So see, this is a very important sessions that I am conducting every day. It will be really helpful for any of the exams because current affairs will not leave you. If you are preparing for any of the jobs, it will not leave you. It is very important, and don't just by heart the facts at the end of your exam, like just before 10 days, 15 days, you will collect the material and then by heart and go for the exams. It's very difficult for our human brain to remember such things. So do it on a regular basis, understand the concept and then remember the facts. It will be helpful for you, right? So thanks a lot for the session. Keep supporting and keep subscribing.